Hey everybody, we're here at another wine cellar that we just completed, and we're really excited about this one. We first met Fred and Cindy about a year ago. Their architect brought us in. The house was still to a large extent at frame stage, and we had a lot of flexibility given just the size of the room to do a lot of interesting things that you'll see as we walk through the room. The homeowner currently has a wine cellar. It's really more just pure storage. Aesthetically, it's pretty basic and it has far less capacity than what you're going to see today. So we began here at the blueprint stage with the architect and talked with the homeowners about the kind of things that they saw coming into the wine cellar. These are custom kind of pilasters with racking in between. Not real efficient storage-wise, but they look phenomenal, and some of the homeowners' more kind of marquee bottles are able to be displayed here, and it really becomes a focal point in the room. Cindy, Fred's wife, chose these sconces to mount on the pilasters, and they really work great in this space, and they tie into this fixture, which will be hung hopefully later today. Is the original house that was on the property, which they tore down to build this. This was original to that house. So Cindy saved it, had it kind of, you know, just refurbished and painted, and it'll be hung over this table here. The homeowners chose a stain that's kind of in the chestnut family. It really works well with the paint color we chose, which is kind of a Provenance olive color. It picks up some of the earth tones in the brick, so everything really ties together well. If you can pan around here, we come to the more kind of utilitarian storage. This was more display. This is more organizational, just cork forward, what people think of when they think of a wine cellar. Again, this is all solid mahogany. These are 750s with a display row here. And so the idea is this particular bottle, and if the homeowner buys cases of it, the stock is above and below it of this particular wine. This is a cabinet that was put in for stemware, wine-related books, things like that. And it also just kind of breaks up the space visually from just pure cork-forward racking. It's got kind of a bubble glass on here that looks great, and I think it ties in nicely with all the racking. Keep moving in this direction, and we have more cork-forward storage, again, more display rows, and then we go into some bulk storage down below here. So there's always going to be certain wines in a wine cellar that a customer is buying large quantities of, because it's either an investment wine that he's laying down for several years, or it's just a wine he likes and drinks a lot of. And so he's going to buy a lot of quantities of it, and again, we can keep the stock of it. He knows he comes to this bottle, he knows the stock of this bottle is down below in these diamond bins.
So as we were discussing before, and Joe kind of walked you through one half of the room, this is the second part of the second half of the wine cellar. And on this wall, we brought two racks in that are called waterfalls, where we took advantage of a dramatic drop from ceiling to halfway up, which are nice display rows, which also bring colors, and you can see your fancier bottles if you like, just like the other side. It kind of ties the two together. We had some nice crown molding at the top. And on the left and right, we have two twin cooling systems that were custom built by our team. And what's special about these systems is that they're very, very quiet, which is very important in a residential project, because obviously you want to be able to come in here and talk. I'm not really talking loud, but you can come in here and have a dinner party or have friends over and not have to talk over the systems. And what we did is we built them into the racks. They're also made out of mahogany, and they're stayed just like the racking, so everything just ties together. And separating the two sides of the two twin systems, we put in an arch, where we also have some display rows, diamond bins, some displays on top where you can put some cases, champagnes. There's a light, and also on the front we have two displays where we have some large format bottles. And here on this side with champagnes, and tied together in here, we carry the display rows from the top all the way down to the bottom. One of the big things with the wine cellar is, after the room is built, is the organizational aspects of it. It can get very daunting. This cellar holds in particular about 2,300 bottles, and Joe's going to walk you through some of the details of that with Christie's.
organizing it, it's quite a task. So we were thrilled to become partners with Italian Wine Merchants. Chris Dees is here, he's the Vice President of Italian Wine Merchants. And Chris, just tell us a little bit about these tags that we've been putting on the bottles this afternoon.
Yeah, so what the tags help do is help people, most importantly, drink wines when they're ready to be consumed. Mm-hmm. Often when we go into cellars, we've worked with Kurt and Joe in several cellars, and we go in and we're pulling out wines that have peaked 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Sure.
They missed their drinking window. So what we came up with a few years ago was putting the drinking term on the label. I think this really is a huge benefit to Fred and all the clients that we've worked with.
Mike, the question is, as far as this room, and I'm sure we're going to see the layout, what is the styles as to how you're organizing these? Is there any?
So in the great thing about the tool, and once we compile, it has more than 700 bottles. Once we compile, and actually it had about 800 bottles. A lot of those, 100 bottles or so, were past their drinking peak, and we recommended donating them to charity or giving them to friends or dumping them, unfortunately. But what we were able to look at once we uploaded the information into the software on the computer was that Fred is a serious Italian wine enthusiast. Mm-hmm. And as you can see here, whether the camera picks it up, you'll see a huge spike in the percentage that is Italian wine. For example, he's got 453 bottles that are Italian, and then 122 that are French and downward. So the easiest recommendation for us to make for him was to create a more balanced cellar.
If Fred goes and grabs, this bottle, how does that get uploaded into the system, or does he have is it a scanning system? Or?
So what's great about Fred is that he's more old world, and he's fine with just a bottle tag. He didn't need a computer system or a scanning system, scanning gun to update his wine consumption and purchasing. So the way we set it up is that he would simply pull the bottle off the shelf, and as he leaves, he would simply take the tag off and throw it in this bin, which he would mail back to Italian Wine Merchants, and we would deplete the wine in the system for him.
So that he knows that, and he can put tasting notes and things like that into there?
So, so the removal of the tag and mailing the tags to us on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis will deplete from his system. He can go into the tool and actually put his own wine notes, what he thought about the wine, but we'll work with them, and that's kind of the white glove service that we do with Kurt and Joe and their clients. Another thing that we, white glove service that we're working on with Joseph and Curtis is coming around and doing a monthly stop where we're going to come in and pick up the tags themselves and do an extended white glove service. So that's more for this area of New Jersey. It's another benefit of working with Joseph and Curtis and Italian Wine Merchants.